Welcome to the Free and Open Mind podcast, where I'm Hardy Brooklyn.
And I'm Michelle Wiles. Who are you?
And what is your true passion? Today we have a special guest, the FINancial Sharktress.
Hi, everyone.
But before we move over to her, Michelle is going to do a quick recap of what we've done in the past couple of episodes.
So the past couple of episodes we've been talking about boundaries and consent, and what that looks like from both sides, giving it your boundaries and when somebody overcrossed your boundary or your consent, and how to handle that without being angry and defensive. And we transitioned into change and the many different facets of change to really find your true passion and how to pursue that. Change takes on a lot of different compositions, a lot of different aspects, and to learn what's the steps to take to change. And one of the biggest fears, I know personally for myself, is why we don't want to make changes is because of money. Am I right, Hardy?
Yeah, a lot of my customers, even in the life coaching space, even to make the change to take the coach or to get that therapist, or even to make a lot of life decisions, it's like, money, how am I going to pay for it? How am I going to support it? What is it going to take away from me? And it's, for me, I feel it's a lot of it, people just don't have a good relationship with money, and people don't understand how money works, because like boundaries, most of the people that I interact with, money was always explained to them really badly and poorly. Like, even the way that I was told to save for retirement and be prepared, like, it just doesn't relate to reality, so I never did it.
I think the biggest thing, though, is people fear the loss of money. I think that's a biggie, and that's what prevents people from doing almost everything in life. Seriously, from, hoarding your money and learning how to spend it on stuff that you like to do, but still having money to save. And this is why we have an expert here to help us understand our relationship with money.
Yes, and I think a lot of times that fear of loss of money comes from feeling like there's not enough of it in the world and you don't have access to enough of it.
Yeah.
And what that does is creating that fear around it actually creates kind of like a boundary where no money is going to pass through that, because you're holding on so tight to what you have that you're not allowing space for new money to come in.
And one of the things I think a lot of people, they don't even know they're holding on to it. It's a learned pattern, it's a learned perception. Like, I've got this job, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is the income that it will allow me, and I need to figure out how to live a life within that income. But there's so many other possibilities out there, and there's so many other things that most people can do, that I see so many people just chasing the dollar, but they're not happier. They're just chasing the dollar, and how do we take change, and how do we look at it from an educational point of view, so that we're instigating change fundamentally to the person, so that they are going to give money and themselves the same respect.
Yeah, and I think it stems from one piece, that if we educate people on this one piece of money, which is start to be intentional with your money. You can have very little income and you can have a lot of income, but if you are intentional with what comes in, you will always make sure to put the money towards something that matters for you, and you will always feel like you have enough.
Okay, so maybe we should give people little exercises or something to, because this is really foreign for people to really understand that money isn't the end all, and that you really shouldn't kind of base your value on it too. That's the other thing, because a lot of people feel like maybe they're not worth to make that much money, or they feel like they need to make more money because they need, they're worth more.
So let's just back up. You said something that was intentional.
Yes.
Intentional, that word, for a lot of people, they don't really know what that means.
No.
Because it's used differently in different contexts. And so in relation to fetish, we kind of know what it is. In relation to change, we know what it is. But in relation to using your money with intention, how do we define that so that that can be an action that somebody takes away with?
Yeah, so the first thing that you want to do is go through what matters to you in life. How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel stable? Do you want to feel free? Do you have specific goals that you're trying to work towards? And then what money is essentially is a tool to help you reach those goals. So once you set in, on paper, or however you want to put down your goals, maybe it's maybe you want to create a wall in your house that has all of the things that you want to accomplish, or all of the things, yeah.
A wish board.
And that could be a couple of houses, that wall, by the way.
Yes,
People
people
have
have walls, people have boards.
And it doesn't have to be material things.
No, it doesn't. And actually, it's better if it's not material things. It's better if it's something that has an emotion tied to it,
Right.
because you're more likely to work towards that than you are to work towards a material thing. Those things lose their value to you
Right.
way more than an experience will, or a feeling, or an emotion. So once you have your goals in place, once you have the things that you want to accomplish, then you put the money towards it intentionally. Your money wants to have a job. It wants to work for you, and I think that's what people forget. They think that money is just, it's going to pay for this thing, right? It's just there to pay your rent, or pay your phone bill, or buy this tchotchke, or this coffee, or whatever. But it's not. It's actually your employee. It's actually someone that cares about you and you have a relationship with, and it is going to want to work for you. So you need to give it a job.
Right. And respect.
And respect.
And that leads me to kind of think about it is the statements that you're making are probably true for today, but like when I look at my parents' values and people that are even as I get up there in age, what we were raised to believe in with money was not. It was the opposite. It was, this is something that you need to get to survive. This was never told to me as a tool. It was never taught to me as something that works for me. It was always taught to me as something that it was part of life. Like, you are put on the earth to struggle to survive, to achieve this great wealth in America, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
That, frankly, the way that we're going about getting it through that methodology, we're not getting to that wealth. I mean, when I look around and I look at a lot of people, I don't really want to say where a lot of people have found their money, but we have a lot of lawsuits and settlement millionaires and rich people that have disseminated down through generations that are not real, that don't even respect money.
Yeah, and that type of thinking is what creates this attitude of debt and scarcity, and that is why it's so rampant, because we were taught to think about money in a way that, if you've ever read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, we're taught to think about money. Oh, so it's a great book.
Okay.
And I definitely recommend it to everyone. It's the money mindset of a rich father. He had two different fathers. One was his biological father, and the other was his friend's father. And one of them was rich and one of them was poor. And you can see there's a huge difference in the way both of them talk about money. There's a huge difference in the way they act around money.
Right.
And the money mindset that we were all taught growing up that has gotten us to this point is that poor dad mindset of working your entire life
just to make money. Just so I can eat. Yeah, right.
And
that's just
ends
surviving.
meet,
And that's just surviving.
Paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And that's not the way that we want to live. That's not how you build generational wealth.
Right.
So how do you work with your clients to change the mindset that is actually still being portrayed by our politicians and our news shows and our TV shows? Because everything that you're saying is great. It's amazing, and I'm going to aspire to try to look at money a little bit. I mean, I look at it kind of weird to begin with, but compared to most people. But how do we change something where everything else that's coming at us in the media is the opposite, and the policies that are being applied to us by the government and the politicians are the opposite?
Yeah.
So how do you work with your clients to fundamentally start that process of change?
So we do it on two fronts. We work on the money mindset front. We work on what are the experiences that you've had up until this point with money, and how have they affected how you handle your money or how you treat your money. And then we also work on the behavioral side, where there's small things that you can put in place every day just to put you into a better position, into a position that feels more secure, feels safer, feels like somewhere that you can take risks from. And it also helps shift the mindset.
Right. Well, I think that one of the things that I grew up is that your value and who you are and what you contribute is based on how much money you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is it's huge, right? And especially in New York, it's really exaggerated.
And
And people on the outside that don't have money, they're looking at the people that do have money. Oh, they seem so happy, and their life is so together, and like nothing ever bad ever happens to them, and that's just so not true.
Right.
That is so not true. And how do you break that pattern to realize that money, you allow that money to have that kind of control over you, instead of you having your control over your money.
Yeah, so I think one of the best things that happened for me was I went backpacking when I was 19. I backpacked South America, and and I lived with local families at certain points. And what I realized is I had come from somewhere, America, so rich, had everything. And then here were these people who had a maybe 1% of what I had. They barely had running water. This was already when iPads had come out, or iPods had come out, and the kids were like, "Have you ever seen a Discman?" And I'm like, and I realized that these people have so little money, but they are so incredibly happy and joyous. And what that made me realize is that the money is not the thing that makes you happy. It's the experiences, the family, the goals that you're able to accomplish with what you have.
Right.
Because they were just happy that they had a house, that they were able to build a house. The kids were just happy that they met somebody who saw a Discman.
Right.
And
it's a big difference. I've traveled a lot as well, and it's a very big different mindset. And I see the different mindsets just between me and my brothers. My brothers are more of, I need to have this house, I need to have this house, I need to have this car, I need to own these tangible goods, where they're like, I can't believe you still rent an apartment. And I'm like, yeah, but I've seen 18 countries, I've done all of these experiences in my life, because that's where I valued more than owning a physical asset. I mean, I have a lot of nice biking equipment and traveling equipment and Burning Man equipment, but yeah, that's about all I have.
And I think that when we open up our environments and we start to see other people, other environments, other ways of life, just exposing ourselves to that can really help eliminate some of that learned garbage that we're carrying around.
That value we put into money. It's almost like up there with Jesus. Jesus and money.
And it's okay to, value yourself enough, and especially if you have your own business, you have to know your value so that you can set your prices and not feel frustrated about the price that you've set, or not feel frustrated that you're giving too much and not getting anything back. So there is a portion of it being okay to set your value in dollars.
Yes.
But that's setting your value for someone else, and you have to realize that part of that value is also the experience and skills that you've accumulated up until this point. It is not just your dollar value for this service.
Right.
It is my dollar value for this service plus the years of experience and skills that I bring with it.
And life classes and education and other things that have happened.
Yeah, I have a certain rate. I do pro dom mistress work, and I've had some guys haggle with me, and I'm like, this is not a garage sale. We're not
No,
haggling.
no.
You know, you don't like the price, you can go somewhere else. But I've been doing this for 25 years, right? So I have a lot of experience, you know, and you're gonna get, you know, a really good experience. I'm gonna talk to you. We're gonna have a relationship and a dynamic. So it's not just like you just hiring me to like cut your hair and then bye, see you later,
Yeah.
right? So, but I think, like I said, that the biggest fear is just how do I get past that so I can actually say to my boss in case I do get fired, you know, how do I say to my boss, you know, I need some changes, and how do I get my mindset, because that's the biggest thing. That's part of the reason nobody ever talks to their boss or speaks up, you know, or speaks up to anybody, because they're afraid,
Yeah.
you know.
And I think that the biggest thing that I've done for myself over the years to deal with that fear is I have what I call a fuck you fund.
Oh, that's the one you
That is,
said.
yeah.
You're
Like,
allowed to.
am I allowed to say that?
You're allowed to say that.
I'm allowed to say that. Okay, so I created from, I was still in college when I did this. I created something that I called a fuck you fund. So if anything goes wrong, if I feel like I'm in a toxic environment, if I feel like anything, I have this cushion of money that I can lay back on, and I can say, fuck you, I don't want to be here anymore.
Right, and you just have to start saving a little bit every day.
So the way that I
$5 every
created
day.
it's even, you don't even have to do that much. The way that I created this is, I was thinking, hey, I spend more than about $5 a week on crap.
Okay.
Right? I spend it on coffee, I spend it on treats, I spend it on something that I got in the dollar store. I have $5 a week.
Right.
So $5 a week, I'm going to make an automatic transfer out of my checking account into a savings account that I'm like not touching.
Right.
And it's automatic. I don't have to think about it. It does two things. One, it's every week I'm paying myself. So every week I am assigning, you know, I'm adding value to me.
Okay.
And that's like a huge mindset shift.
Right.
Whereas before, your money was there sitting in your checking account waiting to pay bills.
Right.
Now it's not. Now every single week it's paying me. And I started with just $5 a week, and then every couple of months I reevaluated and said, hey, do I feel like I'm suffering? Do I feel like I'm depriving myself of anything? Do I feel like I keep having to reach into my savings account? If not, I'm adding another $5 transfer every single week. And now, you know, I'm saving a few grand a month like that. And it was just a gradual change, and I don't feel like I'm deprived. I feel like I still live the life that I want to live, because I just gradually learned how to be more and more intentional with how I use my money, because I'm not spending it on that dollar store item that is frankly never going to help me reach my goals. You know, I'm now putting it towards me and saying, if I get into a situation where I feel uncomfortable, I now have this nest egg, this cushion, and I can say fuck you.
Do you advise people to put it in savings or in investments?
So I like for people to have both.
Okay.
I want, you know, and if you're gonna do a savings account, there's this great website called nerdwallet.com. I love it. It's my favorite website. And it can compare different savings accounts.
Right.
Because if you put it in a regular brick and mortar bank, you're gonna make nothing on your money. If you put it in an online bank, then you'll get, when I moved my savings account from a brick and mortar to an online bank, I made more in interest in 1 month than I had the entire previous year.
Wow.
So if somebody's willing to pay you more to hold on to your money, go that route.
Right.
You know? And then
Now, is there anything that they should look out for when they're looking at those, like FDIC insured or anything like that?
Yes, you definitely want to make sure that it's FDIC insured. You want to make sure that you're okay with the minimum balance that you have to keep in the account, and see if there are any additional fees. I know with a lot of online banks, they'll even do, they'll refund you your ATM fees.
Okay, yeah,
Since
yeah,
there
you're telling me
isn't
to get out,
a
yeah.
physical place where you
Right.
can go and
Right.
take out your money,
Okay.
they don't have necessarily dedicated ATMs, so they'll actually refund your ATM fees, so you won't have to pay to take out your own money.
So I have to say what I do, I put money every month into an IRA, I put money into mutual funds, and then I have a big jar, he's gonna, I won't say this is my fuck you jar, my curse jar, but it's not. Like, even during this pandemic and I work for myself, I still was putting $1 or $2. If I got change from, like, you know, whatever I bought, if I had a 5, I put a 5 in there. So I just, like, keep on putting money in there, and, like, that's just, like, kind of, like, just in case, but, like, I'm just, you know, because I work for myself and because I want to work for myself. And I want to continue working for myself.
Right.
And the only way that's going to happen is if I take care of myself,
Yes.
right? And that's, like, the most important thing. And I'm, you know, I'm very disciplined for that because, like, I do want to retire someday. I do want to have all this stuff. But I don't place any value on money. What I place value in is the opportunity, because I was a photographer, and what the experiences I had as a photographer in changing people's lives, and being a pro dom and what that entails in changing people's lives. You know, and the money is like a bonus to me, a
Yeah.
complete utter bonus, that I actually get to live the life I want to live.
Yeah,
Right.
and you have to think about it as exactly that this is not the end goal. Money
Right.
should never be the end goal. It is the way that you achieve your end goal. And it's like we said, it's a relationship that you
Right.
have.
Right.
It's your lover, maybe it's your employee, however you want to treat it, but it's something that needs to be seen as separate from you. You are not your money, and your money is not you, and your money is your tool.
So when you meet somebody for the first time, right, that's like, you know, oh my God, you know, I'm going through these changes and I'm all screwed up about money. So you not only help them monetarily kind of get their money order together, but you help them also psychologically to have a better relationship with that.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it, because you can make all of the changes that you need, behavioral changes that you need, but if you don't deal with the underlying fear, the underlying issues, it's not sustainable. It won't last.
And it's more than just the underlying fears, it's everybody else around you. Because when
Yeah.
I started living my life publicly more like a burner, a lot of people around me were like,
I know.
you're weird.
You don't have a car? You don't
know,
have a
just-
car.
Just fundamentally things where
Yeah.
choosing to buy things when we go somewhere and choosing, oh, well, that's going to have a negative impact on me, and it's not going to help me. Like, why do I need a glitter brush? You know, all these certain things where a lot of my friends are like, oh, you used to always get those. And I'm like, but it's not helping me get to my goal. It's bad for the environment. And they're like, why are you justifying not buying it? And I'm like, well, right now that's the phase that I'm at. And I'm not really, I have other goals. Like, I have 2 children that are going to college. I have goals that I have to pay for. And instead of me choosing, oh, it's only credit card debt. And that's what become the American mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's only credit card debt. It just becomes a revolving balance. And how do you also work with your customers to deal with that social side of it?
That social side of it is huge, and what I usually tell my clients to do is get a money buddy that is
that's a
going
great idea.
in the same direction
Okay.
that you are going in. Maybe they're better at something, maybe they're really good at saving, and
Right.
you're really good at investing, and you guys can help each other with that. But get a money buddy, have regular meetings with them, and so you have an ally that is doing the same thing, that has the same kind of money values as you, and it'll be a lot easier to kind of dispel the other social influences in your life, because you'll have somebody to talk to that understands your path and the way that you.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
That's a really
Yeah,
good
I-
idea.
Money
Thank you,
buddy is
Sharktress.
like, yeah, the best thing that you can do for yourself. And then something that has always helped me over the years is to kind of think of the other social influences as someone who's sick.
Well, that's a good point.
That's someone who's living in the sickness, and you don't have to be a part of that. you can help them, you can take care of them, you can help them
Right.
try to cure
Right.
their sickness, but you don't have to be taken in.
Right.
That's a really good way to look at it.
And that's a really good way to look at
Yeah.
it, because I look at, like, when I'm in different scenes and circles, the people that have a lot of money that are sick don't really share it. And not only do they not share it, but they always will expect the check to be broken up evenly. You know, like, it's like the richest guy at the table's like, oh, and and like there's 10 people at the table that don't drink at all, yet he had 5 top shelf drinks. Oh, let's break the check up evenly. So it's also changing that mindset. Like, let's do separate checks when we
Right.
go out. And because what I've noticed is they also still look at all those rich people. They're great people. They're so nice. They're so giving. And then you look at what they give back to the community, and it doesn't value the delta in change in money or anything. It's, oh yeah, we give back this, we give back that. And I actually sat down with one of the scenes and I started looking at that. And I was like, why are these people worshiping these people? Like, they're a dream. Like,
Yeah.
they are the ones that are like bumming the head, not chipping in for the beers, not chipping in for the tolls or the gas. So how do I, as an individual, where all of my friends around me think these people are on this high pedestal because they let us go to their farm once a year or whatever it might be? How do we interact and be able to change that money mindset so that I could stand up for myself and not be taken advantage?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes from understanding that those people are actually living in a scarcity mentality. They're actually not happy. They're constantly fearful. And that is why they are not giving back. That's why they are not sharing. They're so scared to let an extra dollar leave their wallet because they think they're going to get taken advantage of in some way.
It's a flow, though. It comes
Yeah.
in, it goes out, it goes out, it comes in. You
And that's what they don't
I mean,
it's like Jerry
like,
Seinfeld.
I
it
mean,
evens
yeah,
out.
I had a client on Monday night, and he tipped me really, really well. And I gave the cab driver, both of them, I gave him $10 tip. Because I had it, right? I had it, everyone's struggling. I know the cab drivers are really struggling. And it was just like the right thing to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? All right, so it's at $20. But like in the long run, like it's going to come back to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You just cleared up space for more money to come.
Right, exactly. And it takes a really long time to get that and come to terms with that and understand that.
Right.
That it's a flow. It's definitely a flow, and holding on to it is just, it's you're holding on to everything.
You're holding on to everything. You're
Everything.
becoming stagnant.
Yeah.
Nothing new, nothing better is
Yeah.
going to be able to come.
Right.
in.
Yeah.
And money is essentially an energy flow,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that's what people
We've
don't
only-
understand. They see it as paper,
Yeah.
but it's it's
But that
something
paper-
Well,
more
they
than
think
that.
it's power. A
Yeah.
lot of
Right,
people think
yeah,
it's power,
right,
and,
but
and
it's
that's what
energy.
it's worth.
It's energy. It's
Right.
energy. It's energy. Yes, completely.
Yeah.
And
And
it could be
the
good
paper
energy.
Yeah.
itself is nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
We've assigned that
Yeah,
value
right,
to it.
exactly.
But nothing, the only reason that anything has a value in this world is because we've assigned it a value. So, like, let's understand that, and let's use that, and let's create the constant flowing energy
Right.
around money. That's one of the reasons I like the paying yourself first and the fuck you fund.
Right.
Because you've created a constant flow of money, a constant flow of that energy that is just, it's continuous and it's moving without you even having to think about it.
Right.
So you're always making room for more. You're always making room for something better to come.
So we're getting ready to wrap up now.
Yeah.
We've got a half hour. It's been great chatting with you, Melissa.
Yes,
So
it has.
how do our listeners or players or readers or whatever method you're receiving this beautiful message on, how do they get in touch with you for more information?
Yeah.
And how do they, like, what can they expect? Like, if they call you, should they expect to have a 20-minute phone call, a 2-second email back and forth? Like, let our viewers know the best way to get in touch with you and what kind of information they should give you, not just like, just a name.
Help me!
Right.
So a few things that people can do is I'm on social media, Facebook. I have a Facebook page, FINancial Sharktress, Galit Sadiq. I go live every Monday and I give out free money advice. I talk to people. If you have a question about my topic or about any other topic, you can join in on the lives, or you can just send me a message or a comment. Instagram, financial_Sharktress. Twitter is fin_Sharktress, and you can email me at any time, galit@financialsharktress.com. I do one-on-one coaching, group coaching. I've got an online school, and if you just want to have a chat, 15 minutes, I offer free, totally free, 15 minutes. We could talk about anything that you want to talk about, and the link for that is on my social media, and it's on my website.
And we'll be posting all this stuff on the website as well as freeopenminds.com.
Thank you, Galit.
Oh, we
Thank you so
didn't
much
say
for-
thank our sponsor.
No, then we don't have a sponsor.
Oh, okay, we don't have a sponsor for this, okay.
So if anybody's interested in sponsoring us, shoot us an email. You can get in touch with us at freeandopenmind.com, which is the landing page where you can ask questions or recommend somebody to be a guest on the show, or, just reach out and say hi. I'm Hardy Brooklyn.
And I'm Michelle Wild.
Thank you for listening to the Free and Open Mind podcast, where...
Who are you?
And what is your true passion?
Thank you.